Ready? All right. Good morning. And welcome to Kansas City Oasis. My name is Julie Samuel Lambert, and I will be your MC today. I'm so pleased to welcome all of you that have joined us here in our community center, and for those joining us on Facebook Live and YouTube sometime in the future, welcome to Kansas City Oasis. For the past 12 years, we have been a secular alternative to faith-based communities. We welcome all regardless of belief or non-belief, race, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, or any other trait. We feel that the human experience is better when it's shared, and we're so pleased that you have chosen to take the time to come share with us this morning. A little bit more about us. Here is our mission statement. Oasis is a 501c3. That mission is to educate members in the values of humanism, provide social support to the community, produce educational programming for the general public, and to engage in acts of charitable service. So as part of that education piece of our mission, we have our program today. Our featured speaker will be Shelley Norris of Corey's Network on service to surviving victims of homicide. Our musical guests, Kristopher Bruders and his family, who he will introduce to us, and a community moment by Tim Bills. So without any further ado, I'll invite the Bruders up to the stage. So yes, let's give them a round of applause. So a little bit about our musicians this morning. They've been involved in projects like Gas Can, Cadillac Flambe, Freight Train Rabbit Killer, and Copper Threading, bringing a raw, intense energy to their performances. Also, for 12 years, he has hosted an open mic musicians showcase called Here's to the Roots, which currently meets at Inglewood Arts in Independence. And he frequently performs with his wife and kids, and here they are with us today. So, without any further ado, one more warm Oasis welcome to the Bruders.
Well, I've been now working around here damn near most of my life. Been singing, swinging that hammer, everything's going up in price. But all them stores are closing, but everybody gets what they need real fast at that convenient speed. Well, while they're lining them pockets up, taking money right from your town, empty buildings are worse than empty bottles hanging around. Well, what about that old music store? See, it was owned by my friend. And what about that old bait shop that my pa Bonka began? And what about that old pickling that used to happen down in South Missouri? Now, don't look fast, that convenient speed. Well, why they're lining them pockets up, taking money right from your town. Empty buildings are worse than empty bottles hanging around. Well, you better buy your food from them local farmers and volunteer on community radio. You better pay attention to the musicians that live right on down the road. 'Cause all of that out-of-town money, it comes with all the out-of-town schemes. And now don't look fast, oh, that convenient speed. Well, while they're lining them pockets up to take the money right from your town, empty buildings are worse than empty bottles hanging around. Some people don't live like that.
Some people don't
They don't
like to live like a scoundrel.
Yeah, we're
Tired of being pushed around.
Yes, we're
Tired of it all.
Especially that giant tax bomb that you laid.
Laid in our yard.
Oh, and we'll all go around cleaning up all of your filth with our emotions and our families torn to bits. But you'll say you need more money or the world's gonna end, and we'll pay for it all with the price of our friends. Some
People don't live like that. Some people don't
like
to live like a scoundrel.
Yeah, we're
Tired of being pushed around.
Yes, we're tired of it all. Especially that giant tax bomb that you
Laid in our yard.
And we'll all go around cleaning up all of your filth with our emotions and our families that be torn to bits. Oh, but you'll say you need more money or the world's gonna end, and we'll pay for it all, really, in the end, with the price of our friends. Some
People don't live like that. Some people don't
They don't
like to live like a scoundrel.
Yeah, we're
Tired of being pushed around. Yeah, we're tired of it all.
Especially that giant, heaping, steaming pile of tax bomb that you
Laid in our yard.
Thank you so much. I have so many questions, which I will ask you when I invite you up next. I always like to hear a little bit of your inspiration, so we'll have a chat here in a little bit. Okay, thank you so much. All right, let's get into some celebrations. We have some birthdays this week. Tomorrow is Zoe Randolph, and then it looks like we have some birthday twins on May 8th. Let's give it up for Jason Radford and Dave Black. And then on May 6th, Allie and Mary Bayless celebrate their anniversary. So let's appreciate them. Thank you. Any other celebrations? Does anybody have anything to celebrate? Doesn't have to be birthday, anniversary. Okay. Oh, it's Aiden's mom's birthday. So yesterday, congratulations to Aiden's mom for helping make him alive too, I guess. So give it up for Aiden's mom. Okay. So we did something kind of fun. I don't know, Jason, is there a slide from yesterday? Okay, so yesterday we did a pub crawl fundraiser, which was really funny, fun. And I think we raised close to, or over $400. So that was exciting. So I want to just give some appreciation to our board president, Sarah, for setting that all up. And if you look at my face really closely, there's still glitter that I couldn't get off from the face painting. You know, that's how glitter do. Okay, so moving on to something a little more somber. We want to express our condolences to Tim Eshelman, whose mother passed away a little unexpectedly this last Sunday. So Tim is here today, and he wanted to say that he appreciates everyone that reached out to him up to this point, but maybe give him a little extra love today. It's a challenging time. All right. Next up, we have Oasis Book Club, which is meeting today after our program. For those who have read the book, here you see it is Homegoing. You can join them also next. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got that backwards. That is not the book for the day. That is the book for the upcoming book club on June 7th. So you're not too late to read Homegoing and join them on June 7th. But they will be meeting here immediately after our program. All right, now is the opportunity for volunteering with Micah Ministry. Micah Ministry serves hundreds of people a meal on Monday evenings from 5:15 to 7:15. They help anyone regardless of race, gender, religious or non-religious affiliation, sex, sexual orientation, or any other trait. So this is a good opportunity for us to, as the sign says over here, use our human hands to solve the human problem of food insecurity. This takes place at 606 Gladstone Boulevard in Kansas City, Missouri. Social/dance class coming up. Starting on Tuesday this week, there'll be a 4-week Charleston tandem dance class. Beginners are welcome, no partner required. Starts at 6:30 on Tuesdays, and there's a $15 cover charge for that. Another social event, our family-friendly, that must means the edited version of all my favorite songs, karaoke night next Saturday on May 9th from 6 to 9. So feel free to invite your friends and sing your heart out. So no entry required for that. So that will be a social event held right here at our community center. And if all that was too much to absorb at once, you can sign up for our weekly KC Oasis email newsletter. You go to www.kcoasis.org, go to the What's Happening tab, and you'll see the newsletter sign up there. And that will keep you up to date with everything we have going on every week. Or you can scan the little QR code with the dinosaur if that's easier. Also, you can get to our upcoming events page on KC Oasis. Scroll to the bottom of the page and you can subscribe to add all of our events to your calendar. So that way, it does it for you. It does the heavy lifting for you. You'll be well informed, and it'll be on your calendar already for those that you want to attend, and you can just delete the ones that you're not interested in. Again, let's go back to our website. One more section, get involved. That points you to our community moment. So, a community moment, for those of you that might be new with us, are an opportunity for a member of our community to present on a topic of their choice related to their profession, their hobbies, travel experiences, volunteer experiences, really just anything that you're passionate about or sparks joy or that you would like to share with us so we can get to know you a little bit better. And it looks like that we need someone to volunteer for next Sunday. So who's feeling like a little stage time? Come talk to us next Sunday about your favorite thing. You can sign up again here on the website or talk to Roger Pick. Roger, wave your hand if anyone's in the mood for a little community moment this next week. So with that, I will introduce today's community moment. We'll hear from Tim Bills. If he had 3 words to describe himself, it would be tenacious, curious, and fair. And if he had a warning label, it would be point toward problem, pull pin, and retreat to a safe distance. Let's give a warm welcome to Tim Bills.
Thank you. All righty. So something I did about a year ago was that I bought a car when I moved to Kansas City because I didn't actually have one. My best friend and his mom helped me find a car out in California that met all the needs that I needed for the cold, icy winters of Kansas City. But along the way, I had some time I had to spend with the car on jack stands and tear it down, and it's sitting out front if you guys want to take a look during the coffee break. But so many people have been asking me so many questions about it, and I figured I would just answer them all right here. So without further ado, this is from Frame to Finish, everything I learned from doing my very first really big project. I'd like everybody to say hello to Phoebe. Everybody say, hi, Phoebe. You guys are fantastic. All right. Phoebe is a 1990 Subaru Loyale wagon from a long, long time ago that has, a bunch of different specifications. That's how she looked when I first bought the thing. Poor sap from California, sat for way too long and clear coat rotted off. I got her in August of 2023 for about $2,000 and $1,400 for a flatbed to bring her here because they thought, oh, four-wheel drive, we can't tow it. For those interested in cars, she has the EA82 engine, which has these following specs. Oh, and no rev limiter, so if you stomp the gas and stand on it, the engine will just explode. It's great. A 5-speed manual, that was an absolute requirement. I need a clutch, otherwise my left foot gets bored. Also, on the gear stick, press a button and it goes into four-wheel drive whenever you want. Magnificent. First problem I encountered with this car, around Thanksgiving, I went to visit my friends who helped me buy the car. Turns out that cylinder 3 had low compression. I wonder what that's about. Well, it turns out that every single 3D fuel stops I did, I would have to put a quart of oil in the engine. I thought, this isn't going to go well. And lo and behold, in the end of 2023, if I can get a transition to the next slide. Oh, there it is. Turns out that I got run sort of off the road in the rain. Turns out I crashed the car into a culvert. Yeah, that was interesting. Turns out that hitting the culvert collapsed the firewall. It bent the control arm supports and ripped out the ball joints, which you can see here. That little stick coming off that thing is supposed to be straight. It's not. Tore out the CV axle too. That's what that looks like. That was a mess. Even blew out the sidewall of one of my tires, so had to replace that too. Yeah, and it pretty much shattered my ego. And further foreshadowing, when you crash a car, the engine doesn't fare too well, so that came later. So later on, when the engine blew, I was halfway to work one day at the end of December, and I just blew white smoke and had no power. And I was like, oh, well, all right, towing it home, we're going to fix this. New set of tires, new CV axles. I went to a junkyard and found new control arms from another car. I'm surprised they had them. And we took those parts that were supposed to be straight and were no longer straight, blasted them with a blowtorch and hit it with a rawhide mallet until they were straight again, and then just dunked it in a 5-gallon bucket of water. That worked fine. Still running, so. And courtesy of Rock Auto, we executed an entire engine rebuild after it blew up. So this is us taking the engine out of the car. That's what it looks like when it's not there. It's just the open transmission bell there. After extracting the engine, we discovered something interesting, and I have a video of it here. Uh-oh, come on. Oh, okay, that's fine. It's on here. My friend Donovan here is holding one of the pistons that's in cylinder 3, as foreshadowed, and he's got his finger. You can see his finger through the entire piston. That was great. The whole piston just fell apart as soon as we took it out. What I learned from this, if the tool you need doesn't exist, make it. All that a tool has to do, I found this out because we actually had a pin that had a special puller designed. They don't make that tool anymore. So instead of using a puller, I just grabbed a concrete anchor and a piece of all thread and used it as a slide hammer. It worked because a tool, any tool, for any task, needs to only do 2 things. It needs to complete the task and cause no damage. So, also you see all the engine stuff right here is really greasy. I got all that off just by using gasoline and a toothbrush. But wear gloves, please. What's this? Yeah, there you go. Don't smoke. I don't. Anyway, this was me painting all the engine parts and actually getting it rebuilt. Something fun I actually had to do, I had to take a couple of the parts to a shop. And what the shop did was they took these warped components and went ahead and did what's called decking them, which is where they get them really, really flat. And so the sealing surface between the head and the cylinder here where all the fire happens is very, very tight. And it makes sure that it won't smoke anymore. Lessons I learned from that, some things you can't do yourself, and that's okay. No shame in asking for help. Something else I learned in the process of this, instead of making a demand of somebody, just present them with the task and just remove obstacles. The guy I took this to have him deck the head, he didn't have any metric hardware, but that's all this engine uses. So I just bought him a bunch of metric bolts from Ace Hardware, and he was like, okay, there you go. Fun times. There's us reinstalling the engine after it was rebuilt. So Phoebe lives. Fantastic. The car runs. Yes, except the shock absorbers were soft, the A-pillar leaks in the rain, and it has other kinds of woes. And the upper seam of the windshield was starting to form rust, and I was like, this isn't going to go well unless I got to do something about this. Well, all the clear coat was flaking, and remember that winter is always coming here in Missouri, and that means salt trucks. Ugh. Metal and salt do not play nice. So I defined the problem in two parts, the aesthetic and the mechanical issues. The aesthetic ones, I could spot paint. I could, brush off the clear coat, repaint it with the same color, but I could not find the original color. And if you spot paint things and there's gaps in your coats, if you don't find the gaps, the salt will. So when the rust starts, it doesn't stop, and I decided I needed to repaint the entire car. But I got to pick the color. Can you guess which one? And I also got to do some fun paint schemes, too. Mechanical issues, the shocks were just worn out. I needed new ones. Wheel bearings I had never touched. All the bushings were worn out. I needed to redo them. So I went ahead, stripped off the doors, put the car up on jack stands, took off the tires, and dropped all the driveline. And for 8 months, this car sat on jack stands being worked on every single day after work and every single weekend. This is when I learned how to do metal work on very thin sheet metal. I'm used to doing big stuff. I'm used to doing 1/4-inch thick steel. This is like 12 gauge, if that. So that was that mess. And I stripped the car back to metal, all the way back to the bare metal. What's this? I may as well. If it was stainless, I would have just left it. But it's not stainless. It rusts very fast. And so I had to go ahead and do some Bondo work to the car. Found out I'm allergic to the stuff. Fun times. Layer 1 of the paint, that was the primer. And my buddy Donovan was incredibly gracious because the whole 2-gallon kit of primer that I used all of for this car, he paid for it. I am endlessly grateful for that because this is a great primer. And this is where I did the accents, getting the roof and all the trim stripes to be white. And then I put on the base coat. And look at this fool who thinks he knows what he's doing. So I just masked everything off. And this is where things got pretty when I put on the clear coat. The entire thing looks like candy. And I want to eat it. Then I went ahead and also Raptor lined the inside of the wheel wells because there's going to be a ton of salt in there. So I thought if I coat it with rubber, salt doesn't really do anything to rubber. So I think we're going to make that happen. If you can also see there, most of the suspension components, I actually powder coated all of these by hand in an oven. That was a really fun process. Also, I couldn't find new bushings for purchase, so I went ahead and just took the old ones off their metal sleeves and cast new ones. Incredible process. 3D printing was essential for that. And then I got to put it all back together. So now, as of this moment, this project took from January of 23 until February of last year, well, 2 years ago now. The budget. I lost track of how much money I poured into this thing. And I also spent over 900 man-hours, probably well over 1,000 now that I've had to do a few repairs. Most of that money, though, came from buying the tools, not the parts. So bear that in mind. Tools, of which there were like 30 different unique ones that I had to purchase, including a brand new paint gun. That was fun. No, before you ask, I am not in a hurry to do this again. Not for anybody else, even if they paid me for it. But I do indeed love this car. And you can too, because she's sitting right out front. You want to see the net results just during the coffee break? Step outside. I'll be happy to talk you through it. But I think I've spent enough time yapping up here. We got to let somebody else talk. So, I actually did want to share a couple of heartfelt things. I went to an art convention this past December, and one thing I went there for, I got to meet one of my favorite artists you can talk about all this kind of stuff I learned from doing a project. Helping hands are always a good help. You can't overstate the price of or overstate the value of somebody willing to help you. If you're serious about a project, you've got to be committed and be prepared. You can prepare to spend the money as long as you're willing to, but you're going to spend a lot of time and money and effort. So make sure to manage the little things, because that's what will nickel and dime you in the end. Also, if you're buying new tools or setting up a new process, buy once, cry once. You want to cry at the register, not at your workbench. So, but what Steve Galaci, one of my favorite comic artists, told me that I am going to take to heart till the end of time. I asked him how he knows when one of his pieces is finished, and he hemmed and hawed for a second and then said, I don't really finish a piece, I just decide it's good enough and I quit a piece. Phoebe doesn't look finished, but I'm satisfied. And I hope you will be too. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tim. And there were people admiring it as I came in this morning. Nobody that's in this room, just some people walking by on the street were like, hey, check out that car. So Phoebe's getting all kinds of attention out there in the streets. All right. So with that, we will go into our coffee break. Maybe it would be a great time to introduce yourself to someone you don't know. And all those announcements I went through are also on the TV over the door in the foyer. So get some more sugar and caffeine, and we'll see you back here in 20 minutes. Thank you. once again, everyone, and welcome back. Hope you are all well caffeinated at this point. With that, I'm going to go ahead and invite the Bruders, if you want to come up, to help me with my curiosity a little bit. So a question I always like to ask any of our musicians is to kind of tell me about what some of your earliest influences were as you were becoming a musician.
My earliest influences were, Johnny Cash.
I was gonna say, I agree. I heard.
Well,
a little bit
I
of
was
Johnny
really
Cash.
going more along the line of like, I would say my early influences were all the hard times and finding, music is very comforting and powerful and can pull you out of places, and so music really helped me out and became a really big part of my life.
How about you, Havilah? What were some of your early influences?
Ooh, Havilah listened to, what was that radio station, Curly?
KRLI.
Yeah. It was out
Radio station that I found that's in Marshall, Missouri, and it played all the old
jazz
standards and just music from the 20s up to the 70s, 80s maybe, but mostly around 30 to 50s, and I just love it. I was listening to that nonstop. So of course I'm a jazz singer now.
Yeah.
But your influences, the first time I heard him perform, it was a Johnny Cash tribute, which was right after Johnny Cash died. And believe it or not, we did not meet through music. And that's when I first saw him, and I was blown away. And he still sings with that rich Johnny Cash voice.
And how did you find the guitar, or how did the guitar find you?
I started playing the guitar because I had a bunch of songs in my head. I was trying to work with musicians, sounding it out. I knew nothing about music, so I felt like guitar was a pretty good progression to try to get out these tunes,
Get the inside out.
Yes, to get the inside out.
I like it.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and we look forward to your next performance. Let's give it up for the Bruders.
I don't know if anybody's dealing with any of this, but this song I wrote with my mother. She's suffering dementia and a bunch of other complications, and she was, with medication and everything, it's hard to experience anything, let alone joy or anyone around you. So we started this song out as an exercise, and I asked my mother what made her happy, and she couldn't figure out what made her happy. And so then I just started working with her, and I got her going, and next thing you know, we had a big list of things that made her happy, and she was just overfilled with joy. And I think it probably impacted her for 2-3 days after. She was just sharp, and it was really fun. So anyways, this song's called Mimi Song. I wrote this with my mom. Well, you know that I would hold you if I could, making art in the sand on the beach, water splashing into my feet. Oh God, makes me happy, oh so happy. Love it when the kids come around, walking around till the sun goes down. Oh, Luna, she lights the way, broken axle down at my feet. Oh, yeah, yeah. Makes me happy, oh, so happy. Makes me happy, oh so happy, yeah. Ooh. dancing away, eating chocolate nearly every day. Oh, the friends I've known, all the music that has soothed my soul, yeah, yeah, makes me happy, oh so happy, makes me happy, oh so happy, yeah.
Thank you again so much, and we'll look forward to hearing your final selection with us here at the end of our program. Okay. So is that, with that, we will move into our featured speaker. We give a disclaimer here that this program is designed to generate conversation and engage our powers of reason, not as a forum to start debates. The following presentation has been prepared by our speaker and not by Kansas City Oasis. So please respect the views of our speaker. And if you have any questions, a question and answer portion will follow as time permits. So, we're getting ready to welcome up Shelley Norris. Shelley holds a master's degree in organizational development psychology and has dedicated 35 years to the fields of social work and education. She is the founder of Corey's Network, which is what we'll hear about today. So with that, let's please give a warm Oasis welcome to Shelley Norris.
Hello. I don't know if y'all would get this reference, but I feel like Madonna with this thing on. Right? Voguing? Sorry. This is so that I don't run over on my time, so that I can respect your day. Again, my name is Shelley Norris, and this is my clicker. And I am president, co-founder of Corey's Network, and I'm also Corey's mom. Corey's Network was named for Corey Lakovich, who died in 2013 as a result of homicide. Corey's Network has been a fully functioning 501c3 less than a year after Corey was murdered. July 28th is when he died. By June 1st of the next year, we were a 501c3. Me and the clicker don't get along, apparently. There we go. Out in the foyer, if you haven't already received one of our brochures, there are some brochures out there. You're welcome to grab as many as you need, as well as we've got bracelets, and we've got these little pins. And the little pins, believe it or not, like here. There you go. See, I can do that. The little pins, believe it or not, is when we go to court with a client whose family member's murderer is being brought to justice. They won't allow you to wear a shirt that says the person's name on it or anything that's going to represent them. So this is actually just a silent way that we are able to show support and unity inside of a courtroom. So if you grab one of these, know that you're supporting silently the victims of homicide. So let me tell you a little bit more about Corey's Network. Corey's Network provides immediate support and advocacy to the surviving victims of homicide. We do this through 4 different, what we call pillars. Number 1, we help people get counseling. Number 2, we help them understand the investigation and the court process. Number 3, we help them get in connection with the media. And then the 4th, probably the biggest one that people know us for, is we have helped pay for over 495 funerals of homicide victims in the Kansas City metro. Thank you. Now, as a sad side note to that, 4 of those were this week. We average about 60 clients per year, which is about half of the homicide rate on a usual basis. We also have identified over 700 unsolved homicides since 1970, and we try to make sure that those stay in the media. We make sure that they are honored at a vigil, etc. And I'm going to talk more about each one of these in just a moment. Additional services, we provide a program called the Grief to Relief Seminars. I'll explain what GRIEF is an acronym for in a minute. We create the unsolved homicide posters. We do a yearly unsolved homicide vigil. And we also do a bereavement block presentation. And I'm going to share that with you, too, in a minute. Grief to Relieve. Grief is an acronym for groups in the area, reporters, investigators, enforcement, and forward. So what we do, number one, we don't believe in siloing. We believe that there are a lot of different programs out there. If you look at my logo, it's a ball or a round circle. Circles are usually round. Anyways, but a circle, and it's got puzzle piece interlocking in different colors, and that's because we believe in diversity, and we believe in connecting people to what they need in the community, and that we all need to work together to be able to form a bond and create the circle that homicide victims really need to have around them. But so what we do is we'll introduce other people. Like yesterday, we did our Grief to Relief group, and I had the president of Ad Hoc Group Against Crime there, and I also had one of the people from the Children of Homicide Victims group there. And the reason why is because we partner with them to be able to provide counseling services and any children's services that we might need. Reporters. Next month, not Sarah Plake, but one of her coworkers is going to come from KSHB. And what they do is they sit down with our clients during the meeting. It's not an interview. Instead, what we're trying to do is devilify the media so that when somebody does go through something like this, they're not afraid that people are going to come running out with a microphone and put it in your face. Instead, you know that person very well, and you can call them. They will give you their personal cell phone numbers, their personal email numbers, their business card. I have Laura Moritz's phone number in my phone. And I know a lot of you watch Channel 9 and Laura Moritz, Larry and Laura from back in the 80s. But anyway, so she's been working with us, and she'll come in and sit down and talk to people and just explain how she would go about presenting their case on the news. About 85% of the old cases that you see on the TV are probably coming through Corey's network. We don't ask for anyone to recognize that because this is the other person's story. It's not Corey's story. In that particular case, it's John Doe, who was murdered in 1985. Investigators next month will have, or not next month, but in July, we'll have the captain of homicide from the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. I can't pronounce his last name, but his first name is Chase. And he'll be there to be able to help people understand, how do I get a hold of my detective? How do I help out? If somebody tells me something about my son's murder, what should I do with that information? So it helps them understand how the investigation is going to handle. E for enforcement, we usually have prosecuting attorneys or other individuals that are from the court that will come in and say, why was my son's death charged as a voluntary manslaughter versus a murder? To me, it's a murder, but they can explain to you why it didn't reach that particular statute. So helping people understand that. Also, what can you wear into court? Like I said, you can't wear a t-shirt with your loved one's name on it or anything like that. What can I say in court? Please do not go into court and cuss. Judges don't like that. Don't go in there and start yelling at the defendant or any of that other stuff. You're the bigger person when you walk into court. So helping them understand that. And then forward. We don't believe in moving on. There is no getting over. You do not move on from your child. You move on from your ex-boyfriend, right? You don't move on. Sorry, Todd was my ex-boyfriend a long time ago. I apologize. But the thing is, though, is there's a big difference. And when you look at somebody and say, when are you going to get closure for this? Corey died in 2013. It's 2026, and I am not over my child. You shouldn't be expected to be over somebody that you loved, okay? These are some of the unsolved homicide flyers. You may have seen some of these on Facebook. If you like us on Facebook, every day on what we call the anniversary of the person's murder. An anniversary is something you celebrate. An anniversary is something you recognize, but it's not happy, okay? So on the anniversary of a person's murder, then their flyer is then published, and then every year as well, the last weekend of July, we start a virtual vigil, and at 6 o'clock on Friday morning, the last weekend in July, we start every 5 minutes, another poster of an unsolved homicide person is being spotlighted. And you can be part of that vigil if you'd like to be. I do know that Ad Hoc Group Against Crime lets us take over their Facebook page. I know that Mom on a Mission does, Children of Homicide Victims, unsolved cases, not unsolved, missing and unsolved of Northwest Missouri. They all let me take over their Facebook pages, and every 5 minutes, all of those Facebook pages are pumping these out. Each one of them, all 700, if we have a picture, the picture of the individual is on there. If you notice, the one on the right, no, my right, your left. The one on the left is actually from January 2nd, 1970, okay? And the one on the right, that gentleman was murdered January 14th, 2025. So we cover from 1970 forward. Matter of fact, my husband that I lost last year went to high school with this gentleman. And that's how we knew about his murder. And then since then, people have just added to us. Every year we do an unsolved vigil, as well as the virtual vigil that's on Facebook and on Instagram and I hate to call it X because somebody named it that, but anyways, Twitter. What we do is we pump those out, but in addition to that, at 6 o'clock on that Sunday evening, we do a vigil in person so that people who want to be able to recognize that the person that they loved is still unsolved. They can come there. The media is all there. They can talk to the reporters. They can talk to detectives. They can talk to whoever they want to. Make a community, just like you guys, having a community of people that understand what you're going through. And be able to sit down. And as you can see, this young man right there is sitting down next to his uncle and his dad's picture. And they both died before he was even born. But he's able to go there and be able to see a picture of his daddy and know you have not been forgotten. Okay? I always compare it to, every year we get those statistics where it says something along the lines of, we've had 156 murders this year, but we don't count the ones from last year. It's like going to the doctor and being diagnosed in 2024 for diabetes, but in 2025 your insurance says, well, you don't have it anymore. And that's not the case. We've got this illness going back to 1970, and we need to be able to face it. So that brings me to the bereavement block portion. I am going to share with you just a demonstration of what the bereavement blocks are. But number one is dispelling beliefs about grief. As many of you, have any of you ever heard of the Kubler-Ross grief stages? Yeah. Okay. And you don't have to be a psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker. I've been doing social work for 38 years. I don't put that on the website because I'm too young to have done it that long, I'm sure. But anyone who's ever been in any kind of a helping field or anything else, you are aware of the Kubler-Ross stages of grief. What we try to do is help people understand that you don't go through one stage and move on to the next, and then move on to the next. The idea of our bereavement blocks is that every day that you wake up, you're going to be in a different stage. Today, I woke up in normalcy. That's why I can tell you about the murder of my son and not cry today. But don't come to me in a week, because I might cry that day. Okay? It is research-based. It's based off of these 4 different stage theories. Number 1, the Kubler-Ross, of course, have to give a nod. And then the dual process model of grief, Tonkin's model of grief, and the meaning reconstruction theory. Good, we're good on time. Okay. And what it's talking about is a lot of times people think that you're going to go through grief kind of like this. It's going to be one smooth sailing thing, and then by the time you're done with it. But in reality, the way you really experience it, okay, I could have drawn that. That would have been good. But this is what really happens. So this is trying to help people understand and give you a visual of how it's going to affect your life, a way to touch something, because we know that you learn through sight, touch, and hearing. Okay? The bereavement blocks, each color represents a different stage of grief. You can see here that it's shock, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, and normalcy. What we're going to be doing is we're going to roll a dice, just like you're waking up in the morning and you don't know which stage of grief you're going to be in. You're going to roll a dice, and whatever that dice lands on, that is the stage of grief you're going to wake up in that morning. And don't worry, I'm not going to make y'all do this. I'm going to have Todd and Ashley come up here to help out. But when you roll it, it's a roll of the dice. Tomorrow I could wake up irritable. And believe me, I do. I wake up kind of pissy sometimes. Anyway, so we're going to be doing that. And then 2 or more people can participate. So you're going to see 3 of us do this, and they'll be asked to roll the dice, pull the color that they have rolled. So if I rolled a yellow, then I would be expected to pull one from the yellow section, which is bargaining. And then on each of these has a different manifestation on the top. It's not enough to say I woke up normal today. What does that mean? How does that act out in your life? Okay, this one says, today I might have self-esteem. I have enough self-esteem to stand up here and be a nut. So there you go, right? Okay, and then the person who's pulling it will say, today I woke up in normalcy, and the way that it's acting out for me today is I've got self-esteem. Then you place the block on the top, and we go from there. So, let's play. Come on up, you two. And you guys have got the microphone, right? I'm going to go first just to kind of get this party started. And we're not going to go through a long period of this. I pulled purple, which is normalcy, which is fun. Let me see if I can get one out that you didn't already see. Okay, so I woke up in normalcy today, and today I'm able to move forward. Today, the way that I'm feeling is I'm able to move forward with my life. Not move on, not get over, not have closure, but I'm able to move on with, not move on, but move forward with what I need to do in my life. I can pay my bills. I can talk about my child. I can talk to a group of people. I can do whatever. I'm able to move forward today. So I'm going to take my block, and I'm going to put it at the top. And then I'm going to ask Todd to go ahead and roll his dice. Orange.
Oh, boy.
And neither of these have ever played this game before, so I just want you to know this is not scripted. Matter of fact, I'm not sure he knows how. Oh, there you go. You got an anger. Okay.
Okay, today I woke up in anger, and I feel shame. Yeah, shame that I even had to go through it, and shame for my wife who passed, and my kids. Just feel shame.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes that hits really hard with homicide victims because a lot of times parents will say that it's, you know, I feel ashamed that my child was murdered and that we don't have any answers because apparently no one thinks that my child is worth getting the answers. Or how about somebody who commits suicide? Don't you think their family still grieves? They still grieve. So why does that person wake up in shame that they feel bad that their child killed themselves? Go ahead, Ashley.
All right. Green, depression. Hopefully not knock this over. Depression, helplessness. So I've had several surgeries on the same thing, and I just had my follow-up appointment, and it didn't go as well as I was hoping. So that can start feeling into that helplessness of almost like it almost seems like no matter like what you're trying to do to like heal from something like that, still getting that news of a setback starts feeling helpless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the really cool things about this particular tool is that I have used it for race relations, LGBT coming out to their family or accepting their family. Face it, we've all lost people due to political beliefs. You know, we've lost people because of divorce. We've lost them. I work with foster kids for my day job. I deal with kids every day that have lost their parents and their parents have lost them. So grief hits us in many different ways. My son was murdered. His wife died of cancer. She's been through surgery. All different and all valid. And as you go through this process, what happens, thank you very much. We're not going to go very long because I don't want to go over. But as you go through this process, what happens, see, me and this clicker don't get along. Number one, the randomness of the rolling the dice, it shows the way that grief happens on a daily basis. The second thing is the changing color scheme at the top. Up here, this is all going to become intermeshed. It is representative of the way grief changes us on a daily basis. This is what society thinks we're going to go through, but this is who we are. This is who we become, and it's okay to become this. It's okay to be experiencing it randomly and in a way that's easily toppled. The next one is no matter how perfectly you play this game, you will never get the blocks off the bottom. You're never going to get completely over all of it. You know, even if she's gone through her surgery and etc. and she gets everything fixed, she's still going to have that period of time in her life that she wasn't able to do whatever she needed to do. The next one, it helps us understand that though we may experience grief differently, there are some universal truths. Like I said, 3 different griefs, but we all had the same universal truth. And a lot of times you hear from homicide victims, suicide survivors, you know, people that, we call them survivors if you're the person who has to deal with it here on earth, you know? You're above the ground, you're the survivor. So you've got these survivors that, you know, you don't know what I'm going through. Your grief isn't like my grief. You lost a dog, I lost a son. That's not true. The truth is, people experience grief, and it's okay. The last one is when the tower falls, and it will, we must rebuild, but nothing will be exactly like it used to be. Now, normally we'd play this game for a little while, so I'm going to do a trigger warning. What do we do when it collapses? Start all over. You start putting it back up, right? It's not going to look the same. Doesn't matter how long you build. Something's going to get screwed up. And it's okay. It is okay. I keep talking into this like it's my damn microphone. I'm taking this bad boy home with me. Number 1 point here, know that you can rebuild. Look for your village. If I wasn't up here on the stage, I'm sure that, and if the blocks had fallen down, Julie would have handed me back a block. You don't always know who's going to help you pick it back up. Okay, it could be some woman whose child was murdered in 2013 that came here to meet you. And that's what we have to understand. The village is where we find it, not who we think should be providing it. I've lost family members because of this. I have a sister that does not want to talk about Corey's murder because it makes her feel bad about her own child living. And your real friends don't need to be asked to help. You shouldn't have to go to somebody and say, can you help me out with? So, a couple of things here. We believe in being prepared. okay? We believe in prevention. We are not against prevention in any way, shape, or form at Corey's Network. But just like in fire and in the forest, you need to have Smokey the Bear, but you also need firefighters. And as long as there are homicides out in Kansas City is going to need Corey's Network. Period. You can get a hold of me through all of these nifty phone numbers and emails and all that other stuff. We are on Facebook. If you'd like to be part of that vigil, please, just like us and just watch so that you're aware of what people are actually feeling this death. Because next year you may not hear about somebody who was murdered Tuesday. But if that case is unsolved on Corey's Network, I guarantee you that you're going to hear about it next year. And you're going to hear about it during our vigil.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll take some time for questions.
Yeah.
Shelley, if you're okay with that. Okay. Who has the question? I have lots if you don't.
Thank you. See what I mean about the village?
Does your organization do anything with restorative justice, like have the murderers speak to any of the family members? I mean, is that part of it, or?
And our end of it, usually what we're working with are the unsolved. So more than likely that person is not introduced. I have done the bereavement blocks with a group, though, that one woman in the group was a murder victim. Her child had been murdered, and another woman in the group, her son had murdered somebody, and they're both grieving. So we work with that. There are restorative justice programs in the area that if we have someone who wants to be able to do that, again, we go to our community and our links within the community to be able to get them going with that. But no, we don't do restorative justice at Corey's Network, but we do, I know how to source it out.
Okay. Oh, David. Sneak behind you. Here you go, David.
And I'm listening, I just need some water. Okay, go ahead.
Do you have a list of therapy resources for, for any stage of the process?
We have, what we do, one of the things that I insisted on when we first started was that we were not going to silo, because I've been a social worker forever, and siloing is the death of every program as far as I'm concerned. But what we do is on our website, we have a referral form, and the referral form asks a series of questions. Do you need grief counseling for adults? Do you need grief counseling for children? Do you need help with rent? Do you need help with whatever? And it's got a place of where are you going to have your loved one buried so we can send the check? All of these different things. And what happens is at the end of the referral, the last question is, we're affiliated with other programs. Do we have your permission to share your information? Once the person says yes, and I click that button and send, it instantaneously goes to those resources. It doesn't have to sit on my desk for a few days while I ponder, who should I send this person to? It goes to Ad Hoc Group Against Crime. It goes to Children of Homicide Victims. It goes to Quentin Lucas's office. It goes to the prosecuting attorney's office. If you live in Independence, it was going to Rory Rowland's office. So if you look at the questionnaire, again, there's a question on there, was this in Kansas City, Kansas? If you say yes, it automatically goes to the advocates of the KCKPD. Okay? It goes to the one here in Kansas City, Missouri, if you're a Kansas City, Missouri person. So it automatically does. So yes, we do have a list of those resources, and they're also on our website. If you want to go into the website, it'll show the different programs that we work with. And it's not to leave any other program out or anything else. It's just these are the ones that we have an MOU with.
Okay, a question from Lori.
So do you have your own self-help groups, or you refer people to other self-help groups?
The Grief to Relief is our self-help group. Yeah. And I saw two more up here.
Okay, up front. Aiden?
Do you recall a Batman the Animated Series episode where Robin's parents died?
Probably at some point in my life, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think you should watch that or show that to other people because the subject matter of that episode is exactly what you're talking about, and it's a great episode.
Awesome, thank you.
That might be relatable to kids. Okay. Steve, let me sneak past you, Aiden.
Like looking at that clock, and I know that clock's not right.
What were you saying about the word anniversary?
A lot of times people are struggling with what do I call the date that my son died. And so what we've done is we've coined the phrase instead of anniversary, we say unniversary. So UN, right? And the reason why is because people will say their angel birthday, or and some people are like, don't tell me that my child is an angel because I don't think that, right? So with that in mind, what we're trying to do is make sure that it's a universal word and one that we're able to share with everyone.
Okay. It's down to me. So here's my question. Can you talk a little bit to us about how your work is financially supported, or what you might need on that in that side of the spectrum?
Okay, let me just say this. 495 funerals all have been through community donations, okay? We don't do the whole funeral. We do a small stipend, but it's more than Uncle Carl is going to give you on your GoFundMe page, okay? However, we have put close to $200,000 back into the community just on those 495 funerals. If you'd like to do a donation, we've got my brochures out here, and they've got 3 different QR codes on it. You're welcome to do that. We have just recently received our second grant. There are no employees at Corey's Network. Everyone is a volunteer, period, and most of it is done by the volunteer board of directors. But the grants that we got one from the Crime Victims Fund the other day, Crime Prevention Fund, sorry, and that's going towards some of the funeral costs and rent for, we work right off of 31st between Main Street and Broadway, so it helps pay our big $600 a month rent. But yeah, so those are the 2 ways that we're funded, but mostly it's been through donations. And also, if you are somebody that at your work, if you've got a United Way campaign that you guys do every year, we are someone that you can put down as a United Way charity. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Match dollars, very important.
Very much.
We never should neglect those. All right, let's thank Shelley once again for her wonderful presentation for us this morning. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay. We missed this slide. We'll go past it fast. So in just a moment, I'll be passing the volunteer task cards basket. There are a lot of quick little tasks that help us to keep our building in good repair. If you take a card, there's a done box. You'll see it's back towards the piano, and all the cleaning supplies are in that white cabinet. So we really need everyone's hands to help keep this place looking great, so we appreciate you volunteering for that. I will just mention briefly that Kansas City Oasis is also a 501c3 nonprofit with no staff, run solely on donations and volunteers. If you appreciated the topics today, the music we got to listen to, please consider donating through kcoasis.org/donate, or by Venmo or Zephy, which is our other donation platform. And that can be found here, but also back by our merch table. So with that, I'll welcome the Bruders back up. And while they're coming to the stage, I'd like to remind, yes, give them a warm welcome back to the stage. And a reminder that there is a cash tip jar on the stage, and then there's also their Venmo, if you'd be so generous to donate. We talked a little bit about the weekly recurring event that you're at, Here's to the Roots. Wednesdays at Inglewood Arts over in West Independence. Do you have any other performances coming up that we might check out.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Honky Tonk Tuesdays.
Yes, I mean, Honky Tonk Tuesdays, I sing with the Poor Choices. It's a really fun night. We do some line dancing. You don't have to dance, though. Usually they're on the fourth Tuesday, but not this next month, so starting in June.
Okay. I bet we can check it all out on all of your socials that are up
Yeah.
here. All right, thank you so much.
Or come talk to us after this.
Let's see, this last one we're gonna do is called Sitting in the Rain. Wrote this with Georgia. This is one of Georgia's first tunes. There's a little sing-along part. I don't know if you guys are into it, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty easy. Maybe we could do it.
Yeah.
Huh? Ooh, wop, whoa, wop, whoa, wop, whoa. Yes, I am. Wop, whoa, wop, whoa. Think you guys can do that? Oh, there's some takers in there.
Just freestyle your doo-wops.
Sitting in the rain, waiting for the sun, watching my neighbors all having fun. Why am I sitting here all by myself? I put my good times on the shelf. Yes, I have. Wop, whoa, wop, whoa, wop, whoa. Yes, I have. Wop, whoa, wop, whoa, wop, whoa. Sitting out here all night long while they're over there singing a song. Why am I sitting here all by myself? I put my good times on the shelf. Yes, I have. Wop, whoa, wop, whoa, wop, whoa. Yes, I have. Wop, whoa, wop, whoa, wop, whoa. We are one and the same.
Yeah, that's right.
We all dance in the rain. Let the music wash over your pain. Join in my happy refrain. Wop, whoa, wop, whoa, wop, whoa. Yes, I am. Wop, whoa, wop, whoa, wop, whoa. Yes, I am. Wop, whoa, wop, whoa, wop, whoa. Yes, I am. Wop, whoa, wop, whoa, wop, whoa. Yes, I
Georgia Bruders.
All right, fantastic. So after our program concludes here in just a couple minutes, there'll be a group headed to a lunch location, the Grand Falloon on the Plaza, where you can continue the conversation. There is on-street parking and free garage parking throughout the plaza within walking distance. The address is 608 Ward Parkway. So that will be where you can meet up with some folks after our program concludes. For next week, our featured speaker will be Tom Alonzo of Equality Kansas. He'll be speaking about LGBTQ issues. Our musical guest will be Parker Mason. Our community moment may be you, if you want to sign up for that. Oh, we got a volunteer? Who volunteered? Stephanie. So you'll get to hear from Stephanie. And so with that, we would just ask that you pick up around you on your way out. And again, I'd like to thank this week's presenters. We'd like to thank the Bruders for joining us as a family, Tim for his community moment, and Shelley for our featured speaker presentation. And we appreciate you for being here. It is not a community without all of us together. So thank you for being here, for tuning in online, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great rest of your week.